sato samaya mano balaya bato sato tenoba destan teto membawa soto kayo membawa sobo kayo membawa anoraton Sarva siddhi me prayata sarva karma suja me chetan shriya kuro hong ha 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 ho baka sarva tata gata badra mame moda barjem bawa ma samaya sato an. So now 27. If merely a thought to be of help is more specially noble than making offering to the Buddhas, you say. What need to mention striving for the sake of the happiness of all limited beings without exception. See. So here in this book it says, if the simple thought to be of help to others exceeds in worth the worship of the Buddhas, what need is there to speak of actual deeds that bring about the well and benefit of beings? Yeah. So what he's saying here, out of loving kindness, to bring happiness, just wish, may all have happiness. It's loving kindness that, no? That thought is more special, more powerful. It brings greater merit than making offering to Buddha. See? So you sit in your room, just meditate. May everybody have all the happiness and peace. So because that makes the Buddha happy. Buddha pleases this more. No. Than anything else. Because Buddha's mind to all the sentient beings. Buddha's concern is the sentient beings' happiness and sentient beings' suffering. How sentient beings should be free from suffering. How sentient beings should have achieved peace and happiness. That's the Buddha's concern. When anybody who has that kind of thought, just even merely wish, may everybody have peace and happiness. And that's far better than making offering to Buddha. We make sometimes offering out of selfish to Buddha. No, may I get rid of my enemy, so I make offering to Buddha. Buddha, please give me power so that I successfully get rid of my enemy, you know. And I don't think Buddha is so happy about that. No? You make a lot of flower offerings, incense, light offerings, all these things. So saying, even just merely thinking of that exceeds. So then offering to Buddha. See, what need is there to speak of actual deeds that brings about the well-beings of all sentient beings and the benefit of beings. See. So we should know how to make Buddha happy. You see Milarepa's life again here. He didn't have anything to offer to Buddha. But Buddha is so happy that he is in the retreat and practicing Bodhisattva, the ultimate Bodhisattva and relative Bodhisattva. This brings, because sentient beings to the enlightenment. So if I say one story, it's in the Jakarta thing. When Buddha was practicing in the 3 limitless eons, one time Buddha was the Bodhisattva, born as the king, called Champeto, the Mitra Bala. So in his kingdom, there were a lot of people sick, like academic sickness. So the yakshas, they spell those sickness. So when people die, they can have something to eat, So the king asked all his people to practice the loving kindness. See, he said, today I declare in my whole kingdom that everybody must practice loving kindness. So then he gave instruction how to practice. So everybody pay attention on that, practiced. So that helped to stop all the different types of sickness. And the whole country, people became so well. So then the yakshas, they didn't eat human flesh or drink blood. So 5 of them, the yakshas, came to the king. You order your whole people to practice loving kindness. And they did. Now we don't have anything to eat. So we are also sentient beings. We are hungry. We need food to eat. Then king order to the people there. Oh yes, arrange food to them. Of course, they're just vegetarian, And then this yaksha said, we don't eat vegetarians. We eat meat, flesh. Otherwise, we are going to die. So then king thought, what should I do to save them? I can't kill animals to feed them. So now I have a dilemma. So he thought. So then at the end, so I should sacrifice my life for their benefit. So you can drink blood from my body. So he drew blood from his body and gave to these yakshas. And these 5 yakshas were so impressed, inspired. This king is really doing something, helping others. We are so devoted to you because your kind deed, helping others. You sacrifice yourself to helping others. Can we do anything for you? So then king said, there's called 5 precepts. If you can keep all the 5 or any of them, I'll be very happy. So they took the precepts. Then that time, the king said, he dedicated, this time I sacrifice you by my own body, blood. And by this practicing, by the practice of this, definitely one day I will attain enlightenment, Buddhahood. So this time I sacrifice and I satisfy you by giving my body. When I become Buddha, may I satisfy you by the nectar of the teachings of the Buddha. So that made a connection that they were the first 5 disciples of Buddha. No? You know the first 5 disciples. So like that you see. That's the Bodhisattva practice. When we practice step by step, it brings the benefit. Right from the beginning to the end. So that not just it takes time, many lives, but step by step, There's another story. It goes actually to the practice of patience. In the country, there was a king, and way out in the mountain, there was a great practitioner in the retreat. So then one day, the king and his whole family went for vacation just to visit the mountain. And then his queens, ministers, they went ahead and they met such that great retreatant, in a cave. And they were so kind of devoted to him, paying respect, asking his blessings. So during that time, king arrived. The king saw all his family paying so strong devotion to that. The king was a little jealous. They don't do to me, I'm a king, but they are paying so much attention to this guy. Who's this, So then king went forward, asked this retreatant, the great yogi, so who are you? And he said, I'm practicing patience. It's out of love, compassion. The king was, because there's a king, has all the authority. There's a pride in his mind, and also to give lesson to his family. He just hit on this great yogi, and the rest they were so kind of full of fears. They couldn't say so much, So then the king said, "Who are you?" And again they said, "I'm a simple practitioner in this cave, practicing patience." And then king more kind of aggressively hit stronger, So, "Tell me, who are you?" And he just, without changing his mood, tune, so I'm a simple practitioner in the cave. Then the king kind of realized this is really true, great practitioner. And the king apologized. So I apologize you. Please don't be angry with me, because I'm being so disrespectful to you. And he said, doesn't matter. I am the same person. The first you met, and now not changed. No? Then he was so remorse. I am so regret. I regretted so much because without you having done any mistake, I ignorantly hit you. No? And then the great practitioners returned, said, through this practice, said, I purify so much my negative karma. We said, I'm so grateful you did this. No? So through this practice, I purify these obscurations, and I developed excellent qualities. So through these kind of steps, no doubt, one day I will attain Buddhahood. No, that time, may I purify all your delusions. No? So when Buddha attained Buddhahood, he became one of the disciples of the Buddha. So like that you see, this Bodhisattva, how much benefit is there when you read these accounts, stories in the Buddha's life and great teachers. We get so much benefit. No? Not only bringing peace and happiness at that moment, like that king. First he was so aggressive. No, he has such kind of arrogance. But through his patience, compassion, the wisdom, no, brought down all his arrogance. He realized that his weakness, no, so brought how much great peace is there. So this practice of love and compassion, bodhicitta, is courage. As mentioned yesterday, it's courage based on wisdom, based on compassion. Look at that. That's a saying here, no? That brings about the well and the benefit of beings. No? Sometimes we have kind of very, we don't have much patience. We want to do everything, just finish it all, you know. Sometimes may not. It takes time. But don't worry, just do it. Keep the momentum. Keep the pace, step by step. No? And develop bodhicitta. And that's the Buddha's teaching. Why Buddha's teaching is good for the world, you see. Not as a group of religious practice, but as a method to bring real peace in the world. But that we have to study, we have to practice, you see. So you see, study is important. Practice is important. We should be balanced. No? Sometimes they say, oh, practice without knowing anything. What to practice? Sometimes you study without practice. For what you study? You study, you practice. It's very important. Specifically, Kampupa designed this. He wrote it like jewel ornament of liberation to study, and then he asked his disciple to go to retreat, practice. See? Such precious, you see. Then what? 28. Although having the mind that wishes to shun suffering, they rush headlong into suffering itself. Although wishing for happiness, yet out of naivety, they destroy their own happiness as if it were a fall. So naivety is the ignorance, I think. It's ignorance. So here what it said is, for beings long to free themselves from misery is suffering, but misery itself they follow and pursue. They long for joy, but in their ignorance, you see, destroy it as they would their fall. This is actually exactly where the samsara is now. Jigten Sumgul said, ignorance is the worst of all the afflictions. They are anger, hatred, attachment, desire, pride. Within this, the ignorance is the worst. When you say, I don't know, so that doesn't do any good. That doesn't solve the problem. See? Out of ignorance, we made a big mistake. Then somebody came explain this is all wrong. So I didn't know. That doesn't solve the problem, So here saying, see, everybody desire to free from suffering. See, no one desire for suffering. Here, for beings long to free themselves from misery, suffering. We are so longing. We wish. We try our best to free from suffering. But then misery itself they follow and pursue. We chase the suffering. We run after the suffering. We keep creating the cause of suffering, and then we complain. See? You jump from the cliff, so then I'm suffering, I'm crashed in the cliff. Why? I don't want this, like this. Like 10 non-virtues. Look at the 10 non-virtues. They are the cause of suffering. But we run after the 10 non-virtues. We keep creating any of the 10 non-virtues. Because we are so habituated. Sometimes we know it's not right, but we follow. For example, like drinking alcohol. So it's not good for you. It's bad for your health. Bad for this, that. And so those who are so used to it say, still you drink. And people say, don't drink. Say, yeah, I know, but I like to drink. Let me have a sip, So we chase the suffering. We follow after the suffering. This is the samsara. So look at this, So this is a very important point. Then he say, they long for joy, but in their ignorance, they destroy it as they would their fall. Everybody desire for peace and happiness. We want to have a joy. But just mention like gambling, You destroy all the cause of peace and happiness. Due to the ignorance. And we are so habituated in the ignorance. Like a butcher, you look at, those butchers. They're working so hard to bring some peace and happiness to their life, to their family. They are living, But every day, how many are killed? And you have to pay the price, the suffering. In the samsara, everywhere, not just this and that. No, look at this. So look at the Buddha's wisdom. How great wisdom Buddha has. This is all describing about the causality, the cause and effect. As soon as when we create any cause, whether positive, negative, it becomes a cause to manifest the result according to that cause. So now, the negative karmas that we have created in the past, only we have to know them, but we cannot do so much because it's created. Just to purify them. The most important is now for the future. From today, we take care of the cause now. It's not Buddhist belief. It's not Buddhist philosophy. It's the first philosophy of the universal. It's a universal causality, law of the universe. So this is very important. Today, we look at the 10 virtues, not from Buddhist point of view, but from universal point of view. Look at them. If anybody engages any of the 10 non-virtues, people don't appreciate. Non-believers. No. If you go around, steal, telling lie, being a divisive, nobody will appreciate. It's cause of suffering. At the same time, anywhere, any country, believers or non-believer, if you practice generosity, keeping the moral ethics, bring together, everybody will appreciate. See? So that's what Buddha is teaching. As I mentioned, Buddha's teaching is not just only for Buddhists, but for everybody. But we are so fortunate that we believe Buddha and then take refuge in the Buddha Dhamma Sangha and accept Buddha's teaching. So fortunate. It's the basics, it's all things, it's the causality. So this is you memorize and then meditate on this. Contemplate on this. If this is true or not, see, it's very important. Then say we can have a conviction. So now I need to practice Dharma. I need to follow the Dharma. Not as my belief, but it's a requirement. This is done, this needs to be done by everybody. In reality. This is the way how to bring peace in the world. So how to bring peace? in the individual's mind, then in the society. So like the whole group keeps the 5 precepts, the group will be much better, more peaceful. Keep the 5 precepts, practice the 10 virtues. That we need to put emphasis. We don't have to make something new. As Shantideva said, I have nothing to say any new things. So we don't have to do anything new. Just dig the Buddha's wisdom and let practice them. This line is such crucial. So when we practice bodhicitta, so bodhicitta, as mentioned, is composite of wisdom and compassion. See, compassion rises because you see the suffering of the sentient beings and the causes of this suffering of the sentient beings. So based on that understanding, then you desire all sentient beings to free from suffering. So the solution of the suffering is attaining Buddhahood. So wisdom reflects on the Buddha's wisdom. That you want to achieve Buddha's wisdom, so that you cultivate that mind. So I want to attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. So, so the bodhicitta, that makes the bodhicitta. Bring that in your heart and then practice, see. So that bodhicitta, the nature of the wisdom, compassion. See, if there's no compassion, the mind, intellectual mind, intelligence mind, it's just dry mind. There's a lot of theories put together, but there's no application, practical application. So to apply that wisdom, you need the compassion as an application in a practical way. So this wisdom and compassion have to work together. Both are important. Without wisdom, just compassion cannot go too far. Just only feeling of empathy. Just emotional, feeling of sadness, but no method. See? For those who are destitute of happiness and who have many sufferings, it satisfies them with all happiness, cuts off all suffering. So the bodhicitta, you say, look at there are so many who are suffering. So here who said, but those who fill with bliss, all beings destitute of joy, who cut all the pain and suffering away, from those weigh down this misery. What is said in Tibetan, let me read the Tibetan. See. So bodhicitta is bodhicitta's action. What the practitioner who has the bodhicitta what that does is, but for those who filled with bliss, all beings destitute of joy. So try to bring happiness, peace. Those are destitute of the happiness. No. See, this is, if I say there's one story at the time of Buddha, a man who is 100 years old and he is incapable doing things in the house. So because of this, his family members, now they perceive him useless. He cannot do anything. No. So they're ignoring him. No. Looking down on him. So he was thinking, when I was young, I worked so hard to make this house. No. But now, physically, I cannot do anything. So because of this, no, I'm now so looked down. He was depressed. He doesn't know what to do. So then he was thinking what he should do now, rest of his life. So he heard if he becomes monk, there's so much benefit. No, make the life happier, easier. So then he went to Buddha's place to look for Buddha. That time Buddha was not there, but Shariputra and all other great teachers were there. So since Buddha was not there, he asked, who's the next to the Buddha? Who's capable of doing things, ceremonies? I want to become monk. And then he went to Shariputra. And Shariputra looked at him. He's 100 years old. How he can study reading, learn, meditating, all this. He said, you are out of time, And he was so depressed. He cried. Now I cannot go back to my home. I'll die here, So he just next to the gate of the temple. Then he was crying. Then in a time Buddha came. So Buddha saw he was crying. So Buddha said, what's wrong with you, What's happening? So he explained. So Buddha saw he has a karma to achieve result in this life, So Buddha comfort him, out of loving kindness, out of bodhicitta. You don't have to cry. You have all the possibilities. So Buddha inspired him. And Buddha gave him to Mongoliana. So ordained him, trained him. So like this. So then he went to Mongoliana, and Mongoliana gave ordination and trained him and attained Arhat. So like this saying, the who are destitute of happiness, lost in the samsara, so bodhicitta can help. When you have bodhicitta, give comfort. Even just smile. Say, those who are suffering, say, how are you? So they feel, somebody is talking to me. Those who are suffering, you smile at them, they feel fresh. See, out of love, out of compassion. and out of respect. So then you see there's some people jogging on the road, look so awful, Says good morning, in the morning, and they smile at you. Oh, good morning, They feel kind of fresh. So even those things, small things, how to bring more peace, happiness, slowly, then you connect. That's what it's saying here, But those who fill with the bliss, all beings destitute of joy, that who cut all pain and suffering away. See, even temporary, their heart is so heavy, They think everybody is so happy except me, So that time, you just smile at them. You are good. You are doing well, And they feel, am I doing okay, See, it's like this, This is the social. This is nothing religious. It's just in the society we need. As I mentioned, small words, small things makes a big difference. There are some people so rich, so powerful, but they think they're alone. Nobody cares them, and they suicide. See, they have enough food to eat. They are enough rich, but their mind is so destitute of peace and happiness. So we need the wealth of the bodhicitta, the jewel of the mind, the bodhicitta, the compassion, the skill. So you can do it. Like this, you see. This is how Buddha taught. Buddha taught Dharma not as a culture, as I mentioned, not as some tradition. Buddha taught as what we need in our life. See, as you know, the Four Noble Truths, as I mentioned, is not a culture. It's the reality, nature. See, like say, when we are hungry, we are suffering. What's the cause of hunger? Look at this. What's the cessation of hunger? No. So first we know what is hunger. What's hungry we are. Then to solve their problem, avoid the cause of the hunger, and then try to cook. Cooking is the path. After you eat the meal, the suffering of the hunger cease to exist. That's the practical approach. Buddha given as a doctor, as a medicine. When you are sick, we have to know what kind of sickness we have, disease we have. What's the cause of sickness? There are different types of sickness, disease. We have to know this. Then, to achieve the well-being, to free from that sickness. So I want to be well. It's a cessation of the sickness. What to do? take the medicine, a proper medicine. No? It's reality, nature. So that mind is the same path, but extend the mind for all the rest of the world. Not just temporary relief, but to achieve the ultimate relief. It's the mental journey, our mental exercise. No? We have such a powerful mind. As mentioned, that powerful mind can only comprehend by bodhicitta, not by small technologies. Because no matter how much technologies invent, there's no satisfaction. You want to go one after another, you know. There's no end of invention. But you achieve Buddhahood. All the technologies that you don't need now, because all the solutions is resolved. Let's see. So, but those who filled with bliss, all beings destitute of joy, who cut all the pain and suffering away from those weighed down with miseries, you know. So those are such beautiful, you see. Then, and eliminates every their naivety. Where is there anything comparably constructive as that? Where is there even such a friend as that? Where is there even such a force as positive as that? See? So now again, the benefit of bodhicitta. See? So who drive away the darkness of their ignorance? No. Is there any technology in the modern science that drives away all our ignorance? No. So there's none except the bodhicitta. No. See? What virtue could be matched with that, with theirs? So through these helping sentient beings, purifying our negativities, developing all the excellent qualities, is there any virtue that can match with that? There's none. Say, bodhicitta. No. Beyond all this expression, beyond our measurement. No? See, what friend could be compared to them? So, what kind of friend could be there? This? There's no any friend who can help this. You may have such a dear friend, even may sacrifice for your life, but will not give you how to attain Buddhahood. No? So bodhicitta is the best friend, life after life. Give you comfort, assistance, help. No? Eventually, to make you a perfect person. So embrace the bodhicitta in your heart. As mentioned, never divorce from the bodhicitta. Always, just keep in the treasury of the mindfulness. What merit is there similar to this? It's mentioned the bodhicitta. As soon as you cultivate bodhicitta, the merit is unmeasurable. It's like the space. Space has no limit. So the merit of the bodhicitta is limitless. So that's why I say you stay with bodhicitta all the time. No? And then you will feel my life has been meaningful. No? So from today, now, I learn the importance of bodhicitta, not as a Buddhist, but as a reality nature, as a cause to free from suffering, as a cause to bring all the peace and happiness. That's what I'm working for. I dedicate all my life doing something to bring peace, happiness, to free from suffering. So now bodhicitta is a part of my life. No. So dedicate. So, then practice step by step. As I mentioned, then you just tune in your life. Go to sleep with the bodhicitta. Wake up with the bodhicitta. Take shower with the bodhicitta. No. The water, you are showering. So washing all the water of the bodhicitta, washing all your negativities, all the shortcomings, sickness, negative karma, you're washing away. So then bodhicitta. So everything becomes a part of your life. And you feel so happy, joyful. You can say, happiness starts the moment when you cultivate bodhicitta and then practice it. Everybody you know, don't know, is your friend, directly or indirectly. All Mother Sentient Beings will say, no? As a support for your bodhicitta, practice loving kindness. Like if you're going the aeroplane, going through aeroplane, you wait at the airport. How many people coming, going out, in? People so rushing. They want to do something. They want to bring something. So just simply meditate. These all people looking for peace and happiness. Develop loving kindness. May they all have happiness. No? When you go to the shopping mall, there are so many people there looking for something. Just they're all looking for to free from suffering. May they have all free. May they free from suffering. Meditate. No. So your mind is so calm, peaceful. See, you feel your physical, no, mentally you feel this. In the crowd, same thing. So what kind of best friend you can have than this? What kind of best wealth that you can have than this? No? So all this, you see. He said, what kind of best virtue, benefit than this? As earlier mentioned, this mind is far more powerful than making offerings to Buddha. No? So this and this will dispel the darkness of the mind, our unclear mind. We don't know what's right or wrong. No, that darkness of the mind will dispel by this bodhicitta. See. You see, now when you see the all sentient beings' desire for peace and happiness, you know what's the cause of that. All the sentient beings' desire to free from suffering, you know the cause of suffering. See, that's the power of the bodhicitta. It's insight. So this is the way how you can help other sentient beings. This is how you can help to yourself. No. This is all a training of the mind. You train yourself. When we say, may my suffering be enough, purify the suffering of sentient beings. Of course our mind extends to all sentient beings, but it's training of the mind. You train yourself, mind that way. So that one day you can do literally as Buddha did. No? But at the beginning, we cannot do because we are not well enough trained ourselves. Not enough, say, perfected on this practice. But we start from there. See, step by step. Say the prayers as a training mind. So prayers are support to support our practice. So we stop here. Take a deep breath. Exhale all your attention. Because we have been very serious, isn't it? A lot of tense. Just relax, you know. Relax physically, mentally. Just appreciate, rejoice. No, I'm getting something, the Buddha's wisdom. I'm so fortunate. No, I might have learned this before, but now I'm reminding myself, reinforcing myself. Just making kind of stronger connection to Buddha, Dharma, Sangha.